Thank you, everybody. So welcome to the December 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Surrey Police Board. Call this meeting to order. Let me begin by welcoming Chief Lipinski and his team, as well as members of the public who have joined in person to observe the meeting and those following online or who will watch the archive webcast later. I wanted to acknowledge that we are gathered together on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Samiamu, Katsi, and Kwantlen peoples who are the traditional keepers of these lands. And it's our hope to show the same care as our hosts as we move together on the path of reconciliation. I'm Sonia Parmar, Vice Chair of the Surrey Police Board. Our board chair, Harley Chaplin, wished to be here, but has a family obligation to attend to and sends its regrets. You're stuck with me. As vice chair, I am pressed into duty to chair this meeting, but I also am the finance and risk chair, and have to report that includes, I have a report that includes updates on the provisional budget process on the agenda. In order to deliver that report, I will have to cede the chair to another director who you nominate and elect to fill for me until after my report. Do I have a motion to nominate as director? Oh, so Nursa, you're putting your hand up? To nominate a director? Okay. And
who are you nominating?
Nominating Director
Corona.
Director Corona.
Second.
Everybody, all in favor? Opposed? Any discussion? None? Thank you. Are you, oh, wait, do you accept?
Yeah.
Thank you, Director Caruana. I will let you know when that time comes for the risk and finance team to report. Are there any declarations of conflicts? Directors received and have had a chance to review the meeting package. So before we proceed, does any director have seen a real or perceived conflict of interest for any of the business under consideration at today's meeting? Crickets, so we're good. Adoption. The first order of business is to adopt the agenda. Thank you. Sorry. So we are to. That's it. All in favor? Sorry. Thank you. And then I think I just moved into the minutes. So that was the adoption agenda. So there's the minutes from the adoption of the minutes from the November 13th, 2025 regular meeting and the adoption of the November 26th, 2025 special board meeting.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you. Turn it over to now consent items. Item number 1, SPS policy 88.1, compensation claims for property damaged by police. I turn it over to Director Allen.
Thank you, Chair. So the SPS policy 88.10, compensation claims for property damaged by police. The governance committee recommends that the Surrey Police Board receive this report for decision. The board approve one of two options: establish a board rule that requires SPS to have a compensation claims for property damaged by police policy, or that we recommend that all damage compensation claims of any amount be referred to the City of Surrey for consideration under the city's claims policy. I hope everyone had a chance to read the agenda package with the background information for this. We are recommending option 1, which is to adopt a Surrey Police Board governance rule and Surrey Police Service policy. And under the authority of the governance rule, SPS policy would authorize the Chief Constable to pay approved claims for damage to private property up to $10,000. Claims above $10,000 would be referred to the City of Surrey Legal Services for potential litigation action. So I would like to make a motion to approve option 1, establish.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to just refer to some of the policy here, and my question would be: has the city solicitor signed off on this policy yet?
Jason. No. We can take that back, I'm guessing.
My understanding, no, just say it's my understanding, because it's went through governance, that it was, there was satisfaction, but I think that if there are questions or concerns and we don't have the answer, we can table this for another meeting to be able to cover. It's my understanding that, city's risk manager was preferring that all claims would be referred to city risk management. And I think the thought at the time was by the board was that some of these claims would be small enough that it would probably do the benefit of reputational benefits to manage them. But if there's concerns, I think then we should just take it back.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was it the legal risk manager at the city or just legal counsel?
Oh, the city solicitor.
City.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. The purpose of this policy is as follows. There's on occasion times when SPS members damage property. There's all kinds of examples. I'll give you two. Sometimes our members are climbing a fence because they have to get into the backyard and they damage the fence. I don't think that the people that own that property should wait and have a bureaucratic process in order to have their fence repaired. Another one that is quite common in policing is that if we lay down a spike belt to stop a stolen car, but other vehicles drive over it, I don't see why we can't the next day or within a week get that person some new tires. It's about the brand. It's about public trust. It's about public engagement. It's about righting a wrong, and having time delay erodes that.
Thank you.
Follow up, please.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. I absolutely agree with the intent of the policy. I think it's the appropriate policy to make, but I again have to exercise the size of caution that the city solicitor should sign off on this. Ultimately, through the chains of process, municipal vis-a-vis RCMP, we're going to have to hire 2 more lawyers for the city. So to ensure that all the appropriate facilities are in place, I think it's important that the city solicitor signs off. I'm sure he'll be in favor, or he or she will be in favor of the intent of this. I certainly am, but I think that's something that we have to finalize. And as it says under 3.6, all claims under this policy which exceed must be referred to the city manager. So it's a matter of making sure that everybody is indemnified when we make a final payment. But again, I'm all in favor of the intent. I just want to make sure that we've got everything covered off. And with that respect, I'd like to make a motion to defer.
Sorry.
Well, I guess what I was going to say, it is claims 10,000 and under.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. I still think it's prudent, and I would like my motion to stand up to defer until we have Dr. Key, city solicitor.
So the motion is that this policy be reviewed in conjunction with the city solicitor. There anyone who seconds the motion?
I'll second.
Second it. All in favor? Oops, so that the minutes reflect that the policy is to be reviewed by governance and the city solicitor. Not the risk manager, right?
Correct.
Thank you. Sorry, I also note that we have, when we're adopting the agenda, that there was a request to remove report number 2 under the Finance and Risk Committee reports from the regular agenda and consider it enclosed pursuant to section 69(2)(b) of the Police Act as a matter involves third-party tenancy, rent, and information that outweighs public disclosure at this point. So can I get approval to do that?
Motion?
A motion to do that? Thank you. And all in favor? Thank you. You're opposed?
Yeah.
Majority, so be it noted.
Yep, I just want my.
Yep.
My vote noted. Thank you.
Sorry, I just have to flip between agendas. Thank you, Councillor Director Allen. So moving on to presentations, I now turn it over to Chief Lipinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today we have with us Sergeant Vance, and this is the project that she has been working on, really corner of desk because she is in recruiting. It's called SPS Empower Her Team, and it has to do with reaching out into the community, recognizing that we have a lot of new Canadians and that we want to engage them. And they come from different perspectives. And so I'll stop there and let Cindy take it and explain the program and the success of the program. And we'll go from there.
Thank you, Chief. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Chief, for giving me the opportunity to speak today about our Empower program and our team. Just start with the perfect first slide there. So who are we? A little bit about us. The first 6 of us actually are the foundational members of the team. And we're a group of female Surrey Police Service members who volunteer our time to support women in the community by providing personal safety workshops. So these are done in addition to our regular duties, like Chief Lipinski mentioned. And the foundational group, the first 6 of us, have all come from Vancouver Police Department. So, and the reason I point that out is because our experience there with the Women's Personal Safety Team, I'm not sure if anyone has heard of that before, but we were part of that team in Vancouver and we found it to be an amazing program and we wanted to bring something similar to Surrey. So a couple things in particular that we are not. I'd like to point out that we're not martial arts experts. We're not tactical experts. We're really just passionate about using our experience as police officers to provide a safe and comfortable place for women to take control of their personal safety. Next slide, please. So what does that mean? What do we do? So like I said, we provide free personal safety workshops for women, and many of them are from diverse backgrounds, possibly unaware of their rights here in Canada. So we teach them about the criminal code. We teach them about prevention and situational awareness. And we provide hands-on instruction in basic physical skills that you can use if they're ever find themselves in a violent encounter. So whether that be a sexual assault or a violent attack. But really the focus, although these are some very important skills that we teach, and I'd like to emphasize that these are very basic skills. They're not something that requires any extensive amount of training. It's really catered to a wide variety of women that are going to come, and we can provide them with some of these skills. But ultimately, the really most important piece about what we do is fostering and reinforcing the mindset that women believe in themselves and their personal rights, and that they're not only about protecting themselves, but that they believe they are valued and supported members of our community who deserve to be protected, and how to protect themselves, regardless of whether the attacker is a stranger or it's someone they love. Further to that, we have which is really focused on those things. It's our goal. So beyond actual, like I said, the physical concepts, the prevention, the situational awareness, and all those things, what our real goal is to build trust and a collaborative relationship within the community. We want to create a safe and trauma-informed learning environment where women can feel safe and really get a sense of camaraderie and a feeling of value. We want to empower her women to feel confident and supported in their daily lives. This has really been, in all my 31 years so far, being a part of something like this has actually been probably the most rewarding part of my career. And the opportunity to bring this to Surrey was really one of my main goals after being hired here 2.5 years ago, and being able to provide this for the women in Surrey. We see women from all walks of life. They often will come in appearing quite timid and unsure, and then to see them walk out 2 hours later with a really renewed sense of confidence and empowerment is truly special. So really, it's not just about personal safety skills, it's really so much more. Next slide, please. So to date, you can see on the slide, we've done 4 workshops to date. We only started halfway through this year. And so there are some smaller workshops for specific groups. The feedback so far has been overwhelmingly positive. There's been comments such as, I gained more strength and confidence in myself to face unsafe situations. I love the workshop. I want my daughters to attend. And really the second quote is what really hits home for myself and for our team. Every single participant, so we've had 67 participants so far, and they have actually said, because we give out a feedback form afterwards, and every single one of them has said that they would be referring this program to their friends, their colleagues, and their loved ones. And I really think that speaks to what we're actually accomplishing when we're having these workshops, the feeling that we're getting from the people and the value that it is. A few other accomplishments, which I have to give credit, an immense amount of credit to our communications team with Lisa Easton and her team. But we've developed a new program sub-brand logo, which you can see in the slide presentation here with our brand. We've also developed a web page. So when on our Surrey Police webpage, there's under community programs, you'll see our page, which will identify sort of what the program is and then any upcoming workshops. And then we've also created an email address so we can put out to the public so they can reach us and we can start coordinating workshops. Next slide, please. This is just a quick example of a photo that we took. Now this workshop was actually done, a smaller one, as you can see, and it was done at our training center. Fantastic group of women, and they were all part of the Sikh Women's Club and had a great experience there with them that evening. Next slide, please. So overall, sort of like looking into the next year, we're really excited about expanding our team. We've already had several other female members within the SPS have put up their hand and stepped up to be wanting to be a part of this team. So in order for us to be able to provide more workshops, because I will say the demand is already coming and we're getting a lot of interest. So we need to expand our team so that we can be able to provide those workshops and really try to focus a little bit more on larger events. So I want to make some more relationships with the community centers and other venues where we can sort of host larger events and move them around the city so they're accessible and provide a little bit more of a accessible option for different groups, as well as some of the smaller, more intimate groups for when it's appropriate. And then beyond that, I also want, even actually before that, I would love to be able to put on, and I will be organizing something for all of our SPS staff members. So that they can come and be a part of a workshop and see what it is that we do. And I welcome any one of you ladies to come and join us. So we can hopefully do that for you. But we did that in Vancouver, and it was a great relationship, a great success. And I'm just very hopeful with the dedication of our team and the support of Chief Lipinski and the executive that they've been very supportive so far. And I look forward to that moving into the future. So thank you again for your time.
Questions, comments?
Excellent presentation, excellent program. First I heard of it, so I hope you folks get more information out there. I think the community center idea you mentioned here would be great. I know I go to the South Surrey Community Center fairly often. I haven't seen anything like this posted there. I think if it was up there and you had a space, I think it'd be great. I mean, excellent. Like I said, I hadn't known about this. It's so excellent to be out with the community and it builds awareness and goodwill with the SPS. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I just want to concur. Excellent program, and thank you for the presentation. It's a much needed program, and I look forward to seeing how we roll that out further within the community. So thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, the same thoughts. I have a background in social service, so we have like youth at risk.
Yes.
Groups that probably have experienced
Yes.
violence, and also transition houses and women's transition houses, and for newcomers too, and so on. So great. I'm really thrilled, and I'd love to be part of the program and experience it.
Absolutely. We'd happy to do that. And you're absolutely right. Those are some target groups that we would like to connect with. And that's part of my agenda, or our agenda, is to make sure we make those connections with those different groups. It's already starting with drug addiction programs and whatnot that have reached out already. And also making some of them that are a little more catered to the younger age as well. Right now it's 16 and up, and we've had everywhere from 16 to someone in their 90s. that has come, but there's a different sort of program that is targeted to the youth that is more youth centered. Yeah.
Director Timo?
Thank you so much, Chair. I thought you guys forgot about me. Sorry, I'm not there in person, but every once in a while, look my way because I'll probably have my virtual hand up. Constable Vance, thank you so much. It's a beautiful program. Unlike Director Karana, I was exposed to it, and I was able to refer one of those ones that you had a session with. I'd love for you, if you have a one pager or something like that where people can contact, I'd love to go out in the community and post it on the little boards in different places. And I'd love to help bring more people in. One piece of advice, I feel that sometimes, for instance, you had the Sikh Women's Club, you had the Guildford Islamic Cultural Center up on your list. I'd like to do ones where bring people together, right? So we can get to know each other and build community, and break up, these silos that we tend to kind of congregate in sometimes. And if I can help in that, I'd love to. I'm offering my help in any way that I can.
Oh, thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. That's why I was wanting to make them the larger ones where we can just tell everybody come together as a community, regardless of where your individual background is from, and we can come together as a group. I love that idea, and that's definitely our goal. Thank you for your support.
Dr. Baines?
So how are you reaching out? Are you going to high schools also, or?
Well, that's something that will be down the road as well, because my plan would be to work with our school liaison unit, our youth services, which is something that we've done in the past in my previous agency, and make those connections with the schools and then put on the youth-oriented workshops for the schools. In all honesty, the reaching out has not been a challenge. It tends to kind of word of mouth is very powerful. And if anything, we've been working with Jasmine Boys in our comm section to sort of get the message out so that people know what it is, but also let them know we're still building. Right now, I have 6 instructors of part of our team, and I need to build our team before we have the capacity for all the requests that are probably and I'm assuming will be coming in, so that we don't have to keep saying, well, we'll get to you. Again, we're doing it all off the side of our desk. All of us have our own regular duties, and we're doing this volunteering our time. We don't get paid for bringing these on, which is absolutely part of the program, which I love. And so it's about capacity, but we'll be doing social media. We'll have a web page, and whatever else the communications section suggests. We're following their lead because they're so good at what they do. So, yeah, yes,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sergeant, for your presentation. I certainly concur with my colleagues. It's an excellent program. How long are your sessions? Is it like a 1-2 hour session?
2 hours. It's usually 2 hours, depending on how much I tend to talk sometimes because I'm so passionate about it. It maybe goes about 2.5 hours, but about that.
Well, please, if I may. And I agree with Director Chima. I think it's important to get away from silos here and to get the word out. And I'm going to suggest perhaps that you reach out to the city through their Parks and Recs programs or even more appropriately, probably the library.
In fact, one of those programs was there. Yeah, it was actually through the mayor's office was the program that they're working with international students and their issues. So yeah, put one on for them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vance. Sorry, I just have one comment. Thank you for the program. Looking forward to attending. Don't know how much I can do all that stuff.
Surprised. You'd be surprised.
Just a quick Google search on Empower Her. There are quite a few, I guess, branded items out there. So just, I guess we kind of have to distinguish ourselves.
Yes.
From those, but it would be good to work with them because there is an Empower Her Summit, I think, every year. So that would be good. Well, that's excellent session. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm gonna go find my agenda. Sorry. Thank you. Are there any more questions, comments? Thank you. Thank you, Chief Lipinski. So moving on to point 2. On Tuesday this week, the board office received a request from a member of the public to present a delegation to the board regarding funding implementation and public budget allocations regarding to combat the ongoing extortion crisis in Surrey. The individual making the request would like to relay direct concerns and testimonials from residents who reached out to him about their safety and to make recommendations for how the board can filter community feedback into account actionable items within the current budget process. In accordance with the board's delegation policy, all requests come to the board at the next meeting, and the board determines when to schedule the delegation. As you will hear during the Finance and Risk Committee report, the current budget process is ongoing and will continue until at least March the 1st, with a regular meeting scheduled for the first week of February. With that in mind, do I have a motion to approve scheduling a delegation for this request?
For January?
It's for the January.
First of all, you gotta approve the request because you feel that it's worthy to present to the board, and then you determine when to schedule it.
So do we approve the request?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
If I
We
may,
have to, the
was
request.
that, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, is that delegation here and they wanted to present today, or is it for a future meeting?
We have to, so the delegation has requested to present. And therefore, we as a board either accept the delegation and say, yes, they can present at the next board meeting. The big request came in on Monday or Tuesday, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
So the motion is to approve the scheduling of the delegation for this request.
Here.
So, okay, thank you. Everybody, all in favor? Any discussion? So we will then move to have that delegation scheduled at the next board meeting. You. Moving on to F, which is the Chief Constable's report. So I turn it over to Chief Lipinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got 3 items just to update the board on. First is extortions, which continues to be a top priority for the Surrey Police Service. Mind you that we have obviously a task force, but we also have our investigators that are dealing with a number of files as well. Overall, we're working extremely well with the task force and our partners, which includes CBSA. I think the outcomes are worthy of note that in October, we had 11 shootings. In November, we had 2. And in December, so far, we've had 2. A lot of this goes to the good work of the task force and the investigators within the Surrey Police Service. Also, we have a project which is called Project Assurance, and where Deputy Lesage has people working each night that are in the area of where the targets were. And the techniques that we use, some of them are covert, some of them are overt, have been, in my view, paying dividends. And we've been able to garner very good intelligence, and we believe we've disrupted some criminal activity. Move on to the second point is that we have now taken over the east side of South Surrey. That transition was very smooth. Now that we've done a number of districts and working with our colleagues, the RCMP, we have a template that we employ, and it goes very well. The third thing I'll mention is about recruiting. Recruiting continues to be strong, and we have 20 recruits that'll be starting at the JIBC in January, and we'll have 15 experienced officers going through training in January. So the experienced officers will be deployed in March. And of course, have a 10-month program through the JIBC. That is my update, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Lipinski. Any questions? Anybody? Chief Director James.
I have two questions, Chief. One is that people still don't know what to do once they get the extortion call.
Mhm.
They are confused between the 599 number or the 911.
Okay.
So why don't we produce some small videos and put them out, explain them everything,
Yeah. Okay. Alternative.
where to start and what to do?
Yes. So 911 is when there's personal danger right away. And when people get extortion threats and feel that the danger is imminent, they should call 911. Otherwise, they can call the information line. And I'll give you an example of that is if they've checked their phone and it was 3 days ago that they received the message, et cetera, et cetera. They could call the regular complaint line. So we will clarify that. Glad you brought that up, Director, because we will have a new communications plan in January coming out. I'll report on that in February meeting. But we want to reach out a little bit deeper into the community and we'll clarify the lines of reporting for everyone. Thank you.
And my second question is, once people complain about extortion or they want to be witnesses, do we have enough resources now to show them that they will be safe?
A couple of comments I'll make about that. Certainly, if we had more resources, we'd use them. I will say at the present time, we do have resources in the budget for next year. As you know, we have 150 police officers that we want to hire. Now, we do have a lot of victims. And with each victim, it's very difficult to be there 24/7 and provide professional, personal protection. However, we do have patrols that, especially in the business areas, that we concentrate on. And overnight, we go to the residences. And in one or two occasions, we have a car that sits outside the residence or the establishment overnight. Difficult to do that when you're talking about dozens of people that are victims. What's important out of all that is that we put together a safety plan that starts with the safety assessment. And that means what kind of a threat, how many threats has been escalating, has this person been a victim of a shooting? And so we make that assessment and then we assign the appropriate safety plan and resources to that. We also are looking at expanding the use of our cameras. We certainly work with the city on their traffic cameras, but that's after the fact if there was a shooting and trying to identify a vehicle. So all said and done, we do have enough resources. We've always used more. We'll be asking for more for next year. But we are turning the corner and making the appropriate, I'll say, reductions in shooting and stopping some of the harm.
So anything else coming out of these forums and summits to help us out?
We attended a forum last Sunday, Deputy Prosek and I, and Director Stutt. A lot of the focus was on international and what the federal government is doing pertaining to international relations or finding some of these groups that are offshore. And that's a little bit beyond the purview of Surrey Police Service. That's a federal responsibility. And then there was discussion about immigration and the Immigration Refugee Protection Act, policies that CBSA follows and so forth. Much discussion that way. Again, it was more towards the federal government. But I think it's fair to say that Surrey Police Service is doing a lot of work and we're taking care of our people the best we can. There's going to be more to come on that. And the violence is coming down and we hope to maintain that. And we hope to see more charges coming in the near future from the task force. And I think I'm optimistic that we'll have a good handle on this. It's going to be difficult to make it go away entirely because there's so much of it that comes from offshore. But We're here for the citizens of Surrey.
One last one, if I may.
Okay, and then we'll over to Bilal.
Can we work out something with province to put amber alerts on the cars which are getting away from the crime scenes?
Well,
Or
what we,
a description and
yeah,
some sort of arrangement to make public know.
yeah. When you're talking about Amber Alerts, that'd be a very difficult one because that is strictly for young children that have been taken by parties that shouldn't have those kids. So that's a different lane. We can certainly have those discussions, but I would say at this point, I don't see a lot of potential there. But what happens with these cars that are in the area, which we are stopping and identifying some of the people and gathering good intelligence. But when a shooting does come in, that is certainly sent out to all agencies. And it's important that we cover off certain areas of the city in order to find these vehicles. I won't get into any more details, but we have some techniques that we use.
Thank you.
Dr. Chima?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief. Thank you to you and your team for the work that you've done to date. I know it's not an easy job. I know there's lots of expectation, and of course, there's a lot of anxiety and fear still in the community. I had a number of questions, and Chief, if you want me to list out the questions and maybe you can respond to them, or maybe I can just kind of have a bit of back and forth. But I'll start. You mentioned the city traffic cameras. They have that available. Do we have the ability to have someone sit there? It would be nice to have. Maybe I can start with. Is it safe to assume that some of these shootings are happening between, like, say, 10 p.m. and like 8 a.m.? Is that the kind of typical time, or is it just all over the place?
No, that's it's overnight, and there is certain hours that we focus on. So you're correct.
Okay, so in that time period, would it be wise, or do we have the resources to be able to station someone at that city in front of that the citywide traffic cameras, where we can track if something does happen, then we can know where those getaway cars are going and report that to cars or traffic police on the ground in those specific areas? That's question number one.
Yes, I'll address that. So there's a couple of ways we can do that, and more specifically, I'll wait till the close portion to talk about our specific techniques that we use. I think it'd be more appropriate then, Director.
Okay, and thank you, Chief. The other question is have we do we have access to in this case it would be a RCMP helicopter, or did we ever have the need for one, or have we ever requested one?
We have never requested one. I wouldn't say that it'd be helpful at this time, only because if it's in the area, we have certainly the vehicles that get to the scene faster, as opposed to having a helicopter that would be in the general area of Surrey. So I would say at this time, we haven't had a need for it, but we'll certainly review it for future consideration.
Thank you, Chief.
I can add to that, Director, for everyone's awareness. The RCMP Air One program flies on peak period times and over the Lower Mainland. They monitor radio traffic from all of the POJs they are overhead. And so in the event of a fresh shooting, they will engage.
Thank you, Deputy. Have we seen any resources come from the summit that happened a few weeks ago?
You're referring to which resources?
The Federal Provincial Summit. They made some announcements on some dollars that were going to be allocated towards this work here in Surrey?
Yes, there's two streams there. So there's the victim services stream, which indicated 500,000 from the federal government, 500 from the provincial government. The province is working with the feds, putting together a plan on what that will look like. So at the present time, we haven't seen any resources, only because the plan hasn't been crystallized. The second stream is from the integrated teams. There's 5 integrated teams you may know in the LMD, and those resources are deployed. And yes, they are out there, and yes, they are assisting when time permits.
In that last answer, is that in relation to the surge that was announced?
Yes, that's the surge capacity resourcing.
Okay, but we haven't seen any of that 4 million and that split 500 from the Fed province come in to support the work that's being done yet.
No, we haven't. My understanding is the planning is being put into place of exactly what that looks like and where they would go.
And the province and the feds have not given us a timeline on when we can expect that money, or when the region.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Chief, have we allocated any more resources to the SPS-led task force?
Well, the SPS task force, it ebbs and flows depending on what the file load is and what the complexity of those files are. I'll let Deputy Prosick talk about that, but we have staffed up quite significantly, and at the present time, it seems to be working well. Should we want to put together more resources, we'll certainly do that. If a file is being advanced in a certain direction and requires those additional resources. But Mike, you can add to that.
Sure. Currently, Director, outside of the provincial task force that has, as you know, a number of SPS originated files, any new files that aren't assumed by the task force are triaged and assigned to either one of our major crime teams, depending on the level of investigative leads that exist, or if it's more of a project, they are being directed to our organized crime team, which currently is taking the balance of complex extortion-related, violence-related files.
So in previous meetings, we were told that there was a dedicated SPS team looking at extortions. Is that not the case anymore?
So the original extortion investigative team that was assembled, I believe, back in September. Yeah. Most of those personnel were assumed by the task force. So a number of those people went over to the task force. The structure of that team and the existing organized crime teams in SPS has evolved since then. And now what we have is one organized crime team with the same sergeant that was over at the task force. He's been designated as our SPS extortion coordinator, and he's leading that organized crime team. So that coordinator now is on a daily basis coordinating assignment of extortion and extortion violence files. He's liaising with the task force, provincial task force. He's liaising with our major crime teams who have extortion files, and he's liaising with project assurance personnel, again, on nearly a daily basis.
Thank you, Deputy. My final question.
Bilal, just before that, I think Chief has a comment to make.
Okay.
Yeah, my comment was that there's more to this, but it's something that would be more appropriate and closed.
Sure.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Chief, I remember last time in our last meeting, we talked a little bit about the anxiety and the fear in the community, and people going about, on tippy toes about going about their daily life, right? to and from their workplace, to and from their business. And one of the things that I'm hearing a lot from is a lot of questions about can we get updates? Can we get updates? And a lot of people want updates and they want to hear from the chief. I think there's a need to periodically go out and make yourself available through the press, not in written form and not in infographics on social media, but in person. Because through that way, people can be reassured that the police force is on top of this, is working and allocating the necessary resources to tackle this issue and get ahead of it. I know that to be the case because I hear from you, but I don't think many in the community are hearing from you and don't have a chance or an opportunity to hear from you. And I think what I'm recommending is that we come up with a schedule that works for you, but also invites the media to speak to you and ask questions, and you can respond to them, that gets filtered into the community. And thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna say that be addressed in the closed part of the meeting. I believe the chief has already addressed that when he addressed Director Baines's question on communication with the victims and everything else. So thank you, Bilal. Sorry, I do have one more question, but more around recruiting. Switch it over. So when we have 20 recruits at the JB, I'm sure this has been addressed before. So it's a 10-month program. And then once they finish that 10-month program, so if they go in January, well, there's not boots on the ground in September or October. We have to wait for clearance at that point as well.
So when they finish the JIBC program, which is in 3 parts, so they go to the JI, then they come out, they work with an FTO for a number of months, then they go back to the JI, and then they have a graduation. So upon graduating, they are fully bona fide police officers that can be deployed. So that'll be obviously happening in late 2026.
And then the 15 experienced officers, they can't get deployed until 3 months after.
Yes, so the experienced officers undergo 6 weeks of training. And once that is concluded, then they are deployed. That is just for clarity purposes. So as you are aware in the budget, there's up to 90 recruits that we're asking for. That sounds like a lot at first blush, but really figure it out 10 months down the road for each one of those intakes. There's 3 intakes at the JI, January, March, and September.
Right. So you wouldn't see the March recruits come in to deployment until 2027.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Any other questions? Anyone?
May I ask one more?
Sure.
Okay, about that extortion tip line.
Yes.
3 people have told me it is not working.
Mike, you want to address that?
We'll certainly follow up.
I haven't heard that before.
Not there is not even a answering machine.
It should be, so there should be a message on it, and during business hours, it's actually carried by an individual officer. But I'll follow up on that, Director.
Please.
Thank you for that. But
Sure.
also, if anyone is asking, they can call the regular police line anytime and talk to an investigator. That is, the tip line was set up as a one-stop point of contact. But if that is busy for some reason or the person can't get through, they can call our regular switchboard, ask for an investigator, and they'll talk to them. And we have, and just to follow up, Director, on your previous comment about witnesses, if anyone is unsure how they can communicate information, please encourage them to call us, because we have officers who are specially trained to deal with sensitive information. There are ways that they can provide information that they're comfortable with.
So what line would be that? 5990502?
Well,
Let's advertise it.
Sorry, any further questions? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just getting to the, I've got two actually, not related. One, with regards to, recruiting and, retention. Do you have an idea what your attrition rate is going to be by the time these, recruits are on board?
Not at the present time, when we're talking about police officers for 2025, we've had so far this year, I'm going to say 9 that have either retired or moved on to other things.
Thank you. And one more, and this is really following up on Director Chima's question with respect to phoning the 599 number. What's your average wait time for a call taker to respond to a call?
For which?
For someone,
P1s or P2s?
no, for just to pick up the phone and address.
I don't have that in front of me at the present time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bearing in mind for keeping on track here. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to committee reports. So since finance is up first,
All right, I'll take over.
thank you.
All right. Under committee reports, as you said, Finance and Risk Committee. The first item is the provisional 2026 SPS budget. Verbal for discussion, Director Parmar.
Thank you. So since the Surrey Police Board's last regular meeting, the Finance and Risk Committee met on November 21st and 24th to review and recommend a provisional 2026 budget for board approval. At a special meeting held on November 26th, the board received the committee's recommendations and after deliberation approved of forwarding the draft version to be submitted to council before the end of November. Provisional budget in its initial draft can be found in today's regular meeting agenda package. Draft budget was submitted with the expectation and understanding that there would be a dialogue with council about the police budget and balancing what is needed to adequate and effective policing and council's other priorities, including the mayor's call for additional resources to police extortion threats. Draft focuses on estimating the expenditures required for adequate and effective policing and will be done in 2026 towards completing the policing transition. Although provisional budgets typically state anticipated revenue sources to fund estimated expenditures, at the request of the City of Surrey staff, the draft budget submitted to council does not include references to monies that council previously earmarked for the policing transition or carryover of unspent monies for the year's budget. Now that the draft budget has been submitted to council, council has between now and March 1st to engage the board and ask questions about particular items and amounts to be explained. The board has requested a workshop with council to share information and work collaboratively through their questions about items and amounts, and also for the board to ask questions about monies council set aside or could approve carrying over from this year to fund the police budget without the kind of property tax increase that has been floated publicly. In the meantime, the committee has been meeting on behalf of the board with the Joint City Board Advisory Budgetary Committee established at the direction of the Provincial Director of Police Services to facilitate the budget process. Through the Advisory Budgetary Committee, this city staff has asked a number of questions about civilian support staff, training, vehicles, and equipment, and other items in the expenditure plan. The committee will ask city staff what it will recommend to council about revenue sources that should be used to avoid or minimize a property tax increase. And we will seek clarification of the actual costs that the RCMP's transitional support unit has involved in the city in 2025 to inform a next draft of the budget. The next meeting of the Advisory Budgetary Committee is on Monday, December 22nd. We are grateful for the feedback of the Advisory Budget Committee and the support it is providing council and the board, but the Police Act contemplates a relationship and dialogue between council and the board. The workshop I mentioned earlier in my report is an important step that should take place in early January after city staff briefs council so that council and the board can work through the remaining issues before the board considers resubmitting a new draft budget to council. The Finance Risk Committee also met on December 17th to review other matters, including the following: an update to delegated authority thresholds, third-party use of SPS headquarters, year-to-date financials, and next steps to developing an enterprise risk management framework. The committee asked for research on delegated authority policies of the City of Surrey and other policy agencies before it will bring this back to the board. A report on the SPS headquarters is in the closed portion of the agenda package and will be considered in private in accordance with section 69(2)(b) of the Police Act. You will find the year-to-date financials and enterprise risk management report in the information section of today's regular meeting package. And that concludes my report, and I invite you guys all for any comments or feedback.
Great questions. Carolyn?
Thank you, Director Parmar. Just a quick question. So you mentioned that there are additional funding or pots of money that are carved out additional in your report. Can you speak to those?
Speak to those in the closed portion of the budget.
Okay.
Or of our meeting. That's okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Stuck?
Yeah, thank you, Director. You've made reference to provisional budget and then used the word draft thereafter. What's the difference?
A provisional budget would be one that we've all, is our bells and whistles budget that we hit. And then the next draft would be ones that we've worked with council to then produce and draft.
So the document that was presented to council is a provisional budget.
Correct.
It's not a draft.
It said provisional budget on
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm just clarifying.
Okay, sorry. The next version would be another draft of that.
See, it seems sometimes there's a little bit of mix up in the verbiage when there's communication here. So I just want to make it clear that the document that has been presented to the city is
a provisional budget. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions relating to that report? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Item 2 has been moved closed. So we'll move to item 3, which is the chair's update, verbal for information. Director Parmar.
My votes. I think that was it. I think that was it.
All right, if there's nothing more, I'll again ask if there's any other effort from consultants in the meantime. Seeing none, we'll move on and I will. Did you have one, Dr. Johnson? Oh, yes, yes, I'm handing it back to Director Parmar or Chair of this meeting. Thank you.
Moving on to the Governance Committee, I turn it over to Director Allen.
Thank you, Chair. So following up from our last board meeting, we agreed to proceed with community engagement with our preliminary priorities, goals, and objectives. And that was underpinned by the SPS surveys. Executive Director has sent out our what we heard priorities and goals, objectives to community groups across sectors, business, social, faith, and others. Feedback is open until mid-January, and this information will be used to inform our Surrey Police Board survey plan for late 2026. So that's it for there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to add to that. Then we did discuss at our governance committee that the city will be putting in an RFP for an independent party to conduct public engagement, and that it's our strong recommendation given the power of that it be inclusive in the board's engagement. Certainly, we will share, and even through our public safety committee, we will share the results of our endeavors with the police board in the hopes of getting the best all around engagement with the city. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or pardon me, with the residents of the city. Thank you.
Questions for Director? Do you have a time when those would be happening?
I think we'll deal with the RFP early in Q1, probably. And we certainly will bring more to it, but we have had a brief of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for Dr. Allen? Oh, sorry. Dr. Kima?
Yeah, thank you. maybe not necessarily for Director Allen, but I look to Director Allen and Director Stutt to confirm, as members of the governance committee. I know that we talked a little bit about some parts of this, all parts of this draft plan. But one of the areas that we talked about was in community engagement and making sure that we had listed out engagement with businesses. And I thought that that was a recommendation and it was adopted as something that would be reflected in the draft. I don't see it. And if someone does, maybe you can point it out to me.
So I haven't actually gotten to the strat plan yet, but with regards to the strategic plan, that is something that we are working on, executive director.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Oh, you didn't hear that last part, Director Chima?
No, sorry. I was just, I wasn't trying to say something, but something did come out. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Yeah, so I will get to that in my next update, but for sure, we are working on a community engagement plan that encompasses all of the sectors for the strategic plan. But my previous update was for the priorities, goals, and objectives of what we heard document.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to carry on with what Director Allen said. We feel very important that most of our touch points have to do with businesses, faith groups, things like that. It's very important that we reach the residents outside, not just businesses, but the people. And ultimately, we like to have a forum where they come to us, where where there's a platform, and whether it's suggested to be social media or whatever. But the ideal thing would be to have a view of what the residents want, further than the business lens and the others. And that was a very welcome suggestion. So thank you, Director Allen.
Thank you, Chair. So next we're moving on to plan. Yes. Okay. So the governance committee recommends that the Surrey Police Board receive this report for discussion. To report to the board on the development of the SPS 2026 strategic plan and provides feedback on the SPS 2026 strategic plan document for further development by SPS staff, the policing transition. Respecting that the SPS is still in the building stages, SPS 2026 strategic plan in Appendix 1 covers a one-year period that focuses on the continued development of the organization to position the SPS to best serve both community and employees as we complete the transition, with the strategic priorities being investing in our people, complete the transition, optimize technology, optimize community engagement, and optimizing community policing. So for background, this is a one-year plan. We will be developing more quantitative KPIs looking forward for each of these priorities. And I'll open it up here for Chief if you'd like to add any information on the strat plan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Director. And when you look at the strat plan and the pillars that we have there, finishing the transition is so important, obviously, in a timely fashion, taking care of our people, community engagement, and public safety. We talked about extortions earlier. So we covered off on the basics, we feel. I think this is a work in progress and this plan can evolve. There's been lots of discussion about further community engagement in the spring of 2026. Very receptive to that because circumstances do change and we'll change the plan accordingly.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions on the strat plan? Well, then, great work.
All right, fantastic. So we'll move on to just the general report. So on December 11th, the governance committee met and we reviewed the following information: progress on determining the strategic policing priorities for Surrey, a preliminary review of the Chief Constable's annual policing plan, information about the City of Surrey's Advisory Committee on Livability, Social Equity, Public Safety, and a direction for the board's community engagement strategy. Over the past several meetings, the board reviewed input Surrey communities provided on what their police service should prioritize as top crime concerns and to make Surrey safe. The public told us their top public safe threats are violent crime and criminal gangs, intimate partner violence, traffic and road safety, and of course, extortion threats and targeted shootings. Survey responses from residents and businesses also identified what people want to see to tackle these threats and feel safe. More visible presence of police officers in the community, more prevention and early intervention programs, collaboration with community partners who deliver support services, public education about SPS in multiple languages, an open door to provide input to SPS and the Surrey Police Board. While the public input is being used to inform the Chief Constable development of the 2026 SPS Strategic Policing Plan, the board asked the Governance Committee to engage the community one more time, which is what we've done, to obtain feedback on the summary of the What We Heard document. So I talked about that a little bit already. And once again, the consultation phase will close in early January, and the Governance Committee will work with Chief Constable and his team to set key performance indicators and recommend board approval for strategic priorities and KPIs. I think if any adjustments are required during or following the feedback from consultations, they'll be made before the plan is presented to the board for approval in January. And the last item to report on is the board's committee is our interim executive director about a direction for community engagement. So just following up on what Director Scott started to talk about with in terms of community engagement, we haven't really tapped into how we can ensure that all of the residents of Surrey are hearing what our priorities, goals, and objectives are. Like we've really been focusing on businesses and social groups and faith groups, but we haven't really tapped into the individual residents. So we're looking at things like social media and other platforms to really make sure that everyone has a voice, everyone has an opportunity to input into the plan. And that's it. So any comments or feedback welcome at this point.
Hearing none. Thank you, Director Allen. Bring it over for the Human Resource and Compensation. The final committee report is from Human Resources and Compensation. Director Caruana.
Thank you. Two items here. The first one is the Family Services Employee Assistance Program contract. That contract is currently held and the services provided through a contract with the City of Surrey. That contract expires December 31st. What's important is it's important to continue the services to those that are receiving them. There are people currently receiving these services, and also for the program to be available for those who need those services in 2026. The core services include clinic counseling and web-based health and wellness resources. It's for employees and family members. The cost of the contract is approximately $100,000. When I say approximately, it's based on usage, and that $100,000 figure is based on the historical usage that's been seen. The committee believes it's important for SPS to maintain the contract and maintain the service as part of our culture of wellness. So that's the report on that contract. And I think what we're asking for, I'll go back, is to improve the contract between the program and the Surrey Police Board to allow continuity of total benefits currently offered to employees of the board. I guess we'll need a motion to that effect. Well,
The motion on the floor is to confirm the contract between
this is what I've got.
You got approved? Sorry. A contract between FSEAP and the board to allow continuity of total benefits currently offered to employees of the board's session. Director Stott, you had your hand.
Yeah, is that remaining with the present contract with the city?
Sorry, it would be the board taking on that contract. The contract's currently held by the city. It expires December 31st. The board would now be entering into the contract with the provider, which I believe is Manulife. Is it BCC Matsumoto? Is it Manulife? It's who we get to.
Family Services Employment Assistance Program is its own entity.
Okay.
Yep.
So it would be a contract between the board and that entity.
You know, from a cost savings point of view, the city offers exactly the same service. They need exactly the same confidentiality. So it's just a point. There's $100,000 saved. Is this already embedded in the budget?
Yes,
I believe it's a bit of.
yes.
And
Yes, it is.
yeah, my next just observation here is there's a recommendation, there's a reference to it being employee assistance services are fully aligned with the operational independence of SPS. I think this is not operational and this should be reworded to say administrative. This is not an operational function, in my view.
Operation.
And I'm not sure of the significance in terms of approving the contract. Is it?
I just would like the word, I think there should be a change in that wording from operational to administrative.
Is that in the motion or is that just?
No, it's not. I'm just making an observation. It's in the report.
Where in the report is it? Find it.
On the second page of that,
Yeah.
second paragraph.
Yeah. Second line.
I don't believe that affects the recommendation though. Any other questions or comments?
Again, the motion is to accept contract between FSEAP and the board to allow continuity of the total benefits currently offered to employees of the board.
I'll make that motion.
Director Allen seconded it. All in favor?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So be it note that Director Spett is opposed. Thank you. Moving on to G, item G, service or policy complaints. So I'm informed by the interim director that there are no new or outstanding services or policy complaints for the board to consider. Item H, and for information, and I, correspondence. The next two items on the agenda are reports for information and correspondence sent and received since the last meeting. These are deemed received by adoption of the agenda and are therefore the record and future records. None. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Before I ask if there are any other business, I remind directors that our governance manual requires notice of any new substantive business. Are there any other business directors wish to consider in the open part of the meeting?
I just want.
Yep.
We did skip over the chair's updates, but there was.
Oh, sorry.
For the HRCC, but all I was going to be updated was to talk about our meeting, and basically what we discussed is what are the things we've already heard here today. The family services, employee services program that we just dealt with, as well as what the chief talked about in terms of the recruitment and deployment and the new recruits that we're looking at. So that information has already been discussed.
Thank you. So moving on to new business. So no new business. We are now into the public questions. The last item of business. Open the floor to questions from the public regarding any matters considered in today's agenda. So I'll make a list of names for if more than one person wishes to ask a question, or each person will have up to 2 minutes to ask their question and may also ask a supplemental question. Please put your questions to the chair and I will redirect them or take them on notice and respond to after the meeting is necessary. So those here in person, in public, if you can please stand up and introduce yourself, that would be greatly appreciated.
If you have a question.
And if you have a question.
If you have a question. You don't have to introduce yourself if you don't.
I have a question. My name is, you want me to introduce myself first? Not asking?
Yes, please.
I was the one with the delegation request. I actually printed some stuff out. Assuming it would be today. If you could pass that down, that would be great. Sure. So I have a question for the chair, and it's based off of what I've been hearing from community members, which is that they don't feel that they've been communicated to enough. And so my question basically boils down to this. We had a lower year with less shootings last year, and the public felt safe and felt like the Surrey Police was doing an excellent job. Now, obviously, we're facing this extortion crisis, and I think we just talked about how there may be a surge of policing that the federal government grants, and there are some resources that the board needs. And so there are 9 board members. And so the question that continually is incumbent upon me, that is asked to me, that I'm now relaying to the board, is why aren't you guys out in front of the media more? There are 9 board members. You guys all speak various languages. Why aren't you out more speaking to people, in particular speaking to media and saying, this is what we need from the federal government. This is what we need from the provincial government. This is what we need from the municipal government. Because what I see on the news every day is shooting, 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 shooting. Not board members saying, this is what we're doing. Here's the money that's allocated and here's the stuff that's going on. And so what I've just given to you all is something that we can talk about at the next meeting if I'm going to give a delegation. And what that's just about is a small reallocation of funds, no new funds, but how we can better engage the public. In particular, most of these people who are being extorted are South Asians. And what we just heard from one of the board members is a lot of these South Asians do not like the tip line. And so what the board has the ability to do is to create a WhatsApp tip line that I think would be a lot more inclusive of the community. And that's the main ask. My question is just, why aren't we going out in the media?
All right, thank you. And to answer, I think we just take that back.
I think we have to take it on notice, but I think that between not only the opportunity to do a delegation, but taking this information, will the board explore possibly other opportunities between now and the next meeting for that opportunity to gather in some sort of roundtable or some sort of opportunity to dig into the questions you're asking and understand a little bit better with some background from what you've read.
And I did want to point out that the chair has been making communications out in the media. I guess they're not juicy enough to be reported on. So,
And the chair is the spokesperson.
and the chair and our chair is the spokesperson. I'm just sharing today's meeting, but our chair has been out there in the media speaking and addressing the questions that you have.
Follow up. Are you guys mainly focused on mainstream media, or are you also using new media and multi-ethnic media?
I have to leave that up to our communications.
I can answer that almost exclusively the chair's media has been with multicultural ethnic.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, and Director Chima?
Hi, thank you. You made the request to appear as a delegation?
Yes, and we approved that for next time.
Yeah, I
Next
just wanted
meeting.
to ask, I just wanted to ask through you, Chair, if I may, when was that request made?
Tuesday. It was received on Tuesday.
Okay.
It was in my
And-
report.
And if people do want to appear as a delegation or in a delegation before the board, what's the best method to do that?
You can contact the executive director.
And I want to thank you for bringing this to my attention. We have a web portal that actually has been the link has been disengaged. So we're working on getting that addressed.
Thank you.
I think what we'll do is we'll post something to make it clear how to reach the board through me or through a separate email address to invite those opportunities to provide delegations. I also, just following up on what I was saying, based on the app that I've heard from the board, I'd like to explore that kind of opportunities to go out to community with a targeted roundtable with people to be able to bring them together so that it's not just a meeting here at this location, but possibly something's brought out to community. So I'll work with the board on developing something that does that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members have questions? Online? None, thank you. And that brings us to the close of this meeting. So the next regular meeting of the Surrey Police Board is scheduled for February 5th, 2026. So with this, do I have a motion to adjourn the open portion of today's meeting and we'll move it to closed after a 15-minute recess? Thank you. Everybody, so moved, sorry.
Good, how are you?